What's going on, my friends? I hope you're very well. I thought I'd start this week with a short video to show you a couple of my trees and how they're doing. And I hope you're very, very well. Yeah, I hope wherever you are, you're having a nice day, a nice start of the week, and that you had a good weekend. Yeah. So, as you can see, today we're gonna talk a little bit about my Montezuma cypress. Remember, this is a species that I mentioned was very, very similar to the dawn redwood and the bald cypress. Yeah, that is very common in America. And I actually have a little video showing you how I transplanted this into its spot. And then I told you that I was going to submerge it in water. Yeah. So I planted it in a colander. And then I put it in this larger container that you can see right here, where it's filled with water. Now, the interesting thing about this whole process and about this species, I had never worked with this species before, so I didn't know how it was going to behave. You know, if it was going to like the soil that I put it in. I used zeolite and wasp castings, but as you can see, well, it's grown and grown. It's growing very vigorously. It's very strong, and I actually wanted to wire it because you know. Right now it's growing fairly straight, but I want to give it a little movement so it looks more interesting in the future. But I can't wire it right now because you can see, especially here at the top, that it's got tons and tons of new growth. So if I were to wire it right now, I will be stressing the tree, and that new growth will maybe get damaged in the process. And like I said, the tree will get stressed and it wouldn't grow as vigorously. So we'll be sacrificing that spur of growth that we want to thicken the trunk and to vigorize the tree. So I'm going to wait until better time to do this, you know, maybe during the winter, maybe during next summer or right before spring. I just hope that when I do that, the trunk is still flexible enough to do that, because I'm gonna close in, and you can see that it's very thick. Let's see if I can bend with my fingers. So here we are, a bit closer. Let's see if we can bend it. You know, it's fairly flexible. I guess with a couple loops of wire and a bit of strength from my part, I think I can still give it a bit of movement. Yeah. So it's you know, it's very surprised with how it behaves, because like I mentioned, this was a tree that I had never worked with before, and this was actually delivered to me. Yeah. I ordered it from a guy in a different state to where I live, and the weather there is very different. So I thought maybe it would have problems establishing itself here, but no. Look. If anything, it looks like it really likes where it's living. I'm gonna go ahead and lift the colander out of the container so you can see the roots that are emerging from the container, you know, from the colander. So as you can see there, those white tips, those white roots that we see there, that is all of that new growth. All of those white roots are promoting this new growth that we see right here. If we were to have roots but in a darker color, that's old growth. That's growth that already happened, that already hardened, and it's there, but it's working, but it's not new. Whenever we see white tips, that definitely means new growth. Yeah. So it's really cool, really interesting. Another update that I have right next to this one, and therefore I'm going to show you guys as well, is this little juniper that I showed you ages ago, but right now looks like this. I don't know if you can see very well because the glare from the sun is killing me, but it's this little guy. It's my blue juniper that I transplanted out of a colander into a bigger container, and you've seen me work on sometimes. Yeah. So it's nice, it's good. I gotta prune it But this season, with many of my trees, I just decided to let them grow and grow, because the summer here has been particularly heavy, heavy on them, has been particularly hard on them, you know, and yeah, I'm just gonna let them grow and vigorize, and next spring, after the new growth has hardened, then we can think about pruning and doing everything that we want on our now vigorized trees, hopefully. But still, there are a couple of points that I would like to mention. For example, the vase. You remember that open wound that we have right there that I thought I was never going to heal or improve when it comes to uh, aesthetics. Well, it's starting to look kind of natural now. Maybe in the future we'll incorporate it into a gin design. Maybe the gin is going to continue up along the trunk, and it look better in the future. Let's see if I can turn it around a bit so you can see the thickness. See there? It's, for me, I think it's got a long way to go before it looks completely natural. So that's why I'm leaving the top untouched. It's growing and growing unchecked, so that we can increase that girth that we have right there at the base. Yeah. So, yeah, it's looking nice. And a couple of things that I also want to show you. This little guy, remember that I said I was going to transplant? Here we have it. New growth. Yeah. It's now in a spot where it gets full sunlight, and it also gets all the water from the rain that we've been having. In fact, you can see that the ground around here, the floor is wet. Is that because we've been having lots and lots of rain? A little tiger ficus over here. Actually, this was super tall, and I actually cut it. Super tall. I actually cut it and took cuttings from it, and this is the base. So as you can see there, we got several little branches. Maybe we can start working as a bonsai in the future. I planted some black pine seedlings in individual pots, and they're doing okay. I also planted some in the little pots to see what will happen with them, if we leave them like this. Of course, they're going to grow, but then we will have to manage the roots so they don't get stressed in the future. Yeah. So, the Japanese maple seedlings, growing and growing. And this is something that I always do. We can see that here we've got our deodar cedar cutting that you've seen before. We're just going to do a little bit of weeding, otherwise this is gonna get completely overrun with little weeds. The interesting thing about weeds is that sometimes we remove them and we take them away and this and that. We don't like them in our pots. But for example, this one, at least where I live, this little weed that we remove, it's the scientific name, it's Phyllanthus. I don't know how to pronounce it very well in English, but it's Phyllanthus neruri. And in the common name that it's got, at least where I live, is called chaca piedra, or saca piedra. And people in English call it chaca piedra. That's obviously the Spanish name, but the Spanish name is saca piedra, which means removes stone or takes out the stone. Anyway, this little weed received that name because it's used as a as a remedy or as a helping substance. In this case, a tea. Well, not a tea, but an infusion, a herbal infusion that helps with kidney problems. So you see, it's really interesting. The really interesting thing about plants is that almost all of them help in some way or another. to your health, to keep you healthy. And that's really, really interesting to me. Anyway, so if you see this, remember it's called chaca or saca piedra. Yeah, maybe you want to take it. So if you have, kidney problems, maybe it'd be something that you'd be willing to try. Try at least, right? As long as you're still visiting your doctor. I'm not giving any type of advice by any means, yeah? Another little tree that we got right here, it's a little pine. One of those little pines that we transplanted. Yeah, growing nicely. New growth. Yeah, so everything's looking good. We just gotta keep it like this. One of the things that we gotta battle and fight, at least in this season where I live, it's the heat. Man, it can be really, really difficult. You gotta water every day. You can't take days off because otherwise your plants are going to suffer. But anyway, that's it for this video. It's now 11 minutes long. Sorry if it's too long for you guys, but I thought it'd be interesting to share the state of some of my plants with you. Okay, so like I said at the beginning, I hope you are having a very good day, had a good weekend, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.